something happens and you're either accepted by the light or these little black shadows come and get you. And we're going to talk about some misconceptions. We're going to tell you the truth according to the Bible of what happens when you pass. Is we're going to take a look at some NDEs. And an NDE is a near-death experience. And this, some of the most concrete evidence that we have from real credible people of what really happens when this happens.
Right.
So let's get started. Number one, what, Kim, I know there's a lot of misconceptions out there of what happens when you pass. And I know you've done some research on this. So what are some of the misconceptions that people have?
All right. So the first one is pretty popular. It's soul sleep. People call it soul sleep. And this is a lot of Anabaptists and Amish believe in this. And what they believe is that your soul goes to sleep when you pass. And then they believe that you stay there until the second coming.
Okay.
So then your soul, I guess, rises after the second coming, which is similar to the next one that I'll talk about, the deep sleep.
Deep sleep?
Deep sleep.
Okay.
A lot of churches teach this, actually.
Do they really?
Yeah. It's actually in the Bible. In the Old Testament, God uses deep sleep a lot for actually a trance.
So are there any more?
A lot more.
Well,
do you want me to continue?
The people want to know.
Okay, so let's do this one. This is purgatory, which is very well known.
Right. Talked about.
And purgatory is not in the Bible.
Correct.
And what is understood with purgatory is that when you die, you go to purgatory, and then you are refined through fire, and kind of like a second chance. And then you get to go to heaven. Another one.
You have another one?
I have another one.
Oh my goodness, she is so full of information.
This is good. Listen.
I am.
All right. Worm food. You hear that?
Yeah.
Everybody hears that, right?
Yeah.
A lot of atheists, which don't believe in a God or any God, they don't believe in heaven or hell. So they believe that you're just worm food. You know, you just die and fertilize the lawn.
And I think people believe that because they don't want to believe in punishment or punishment. You know, I just thought of another thing. There are, I'm sure. Oh, is this the end? Right? Is that the end of it?
No, I have more.
You do?
I do.
Okay, go ahead.
All right. Another one is reincarnation.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Reincarnation is a really big one.
Okay.
And this is a lot of the Eastern religions like Hinduism and Buddhism and stuff like that. So what they believe is that if you're really good, you get to come back as a human.
Higher life. Yeah.
But if you're kind of then you come back maybe as an animal or a plant.
You know, I would probably come back as a slug. Right? I mean, I would hate that because, I mean, imagine you're going to pass and you have no idea what you're going to come back as. And you probably don't know that until you're that slug. And do you have a consciousness as a slug?
Right, about time.
Oh my gosh.
All right, so then we have that everybody goes to heaven.
Oh, okay.
Everybody. And this
kind of like a
this
universalism.
Is universalism.
Right.
Universalism believes
no bad, no good.
Yeah, there's no rules, there's no laws, there's no Jesus, there's no nothing. It's just they're all going to heaven.
Yeah.
So I guess Hitler and the terrorists and they're all going to be in heaven.
I don't know. I mean, okay. You know, in us talking about this, I probably believe there's a lot of beliefs, and we would like to know some of the beliefs that you've heard. One, I had a good friend, and he passed, and he was talking to me, and he believed, but I don't know if he believed, and he didn't understand what we're going to talk about today. So one of the questions that he asked me, he goes, "Hey Jim, you know, how do I know when I'm dead?" I looked at him and I go, "Well, what do you mean?"
Right.
He goes, so basically his thought was that he is going to pass And he's still going to stay, even though his body is dead, he's going to stay in this state of consciousness and wander around like a ghost. And I'm like, dude, you need to read the Bible a little bit more, because you will not. In fact, I said to him, I said, no, I says, you're pretty much going to know when you pass, it's going to be an incredible experience of when you pass. So you will definitely know. You're not going to be wandering around like a ghost, like in that movie Ghost with Demi Moore, you know, where you're these wandering spirits until something happens and you're either accepted by the light or these little black shadows come and get you.
Which we did a video kind of on this about whether or not your loved ones can pass and be angels above you and stuff. It's really interesting, but yes, that's
what video is that?
We'll put it up there.
We'll put it up there. Jim is confused, so we will put it up there.
I know.
So Kim will put up.
We do so many.
Okay. Blah, 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 blah. All right. So Kim, I want the truth. You want the truth? Yeah, I want the truth according to the Christian Bible of what happens when you pass. I mean,
I'll be clear.
Okay, we'll be clear.
Crystal
clear.
Wow. So let's talk about the Christian views.
Okay.
And as per the Bible, and this is, you know, I love this one. This is about when Jesus is up on the cross.
Love this. Love this. Love this.
You might have to tell it because I'm going to cry. Okay, so Jesus is up on the cross. And remember that the burglar, the robber is like the thief. He's, you know.
There's two of them.
Yeah. And the one says, you know, I'm sorry. I believe in you.
Right.
And Jesus says, I can't do it.
So the one says, I accept you, I believe in you. And Jesus turned to him and said, tonight you'll be with me in paradise. And you know, to me, that just sums up everything.
Yeah.
So if you're a Christian, I mean, I just love this because he was not a Christian before. He was a thief. And it didn't matter whether he was a Christian for 10 years, 20 years, 30 years. He had that moment in his life where he says, I believe in you. And Jesus says, that's it. That's all you need to do. Tonight you're going to be with me in paradise. You need to know that verse. And that's it.
I know.
Words from Jesus.
Yeah, seriously.
Boom. Done, right?
Yeah.
So is there any more? Is there another verse? If Kim can talk.
Yeah.
Because she gets emotional.
All right. So in Ecclesiastes 12:7, we're told that then the dust will return to the earth as it was, and the spirit will return to God who gave it.
When a Christian passes, a Christian, you know, the first, you're going to be with Jesus in heaven.
Right.
And we're going to talk about some NDEs in just a moment, which are I just am fascinated by NDEs. I could just read NDEs in fact, I have a book. There is a book.
There's a book about it.
Book. It's just fascinating. Yeah. So, okay. So now, Kim, now that you're there, okay.
I'm in heaven.
You're in heaven. So what are some of the things that the Bible tells us of what you can expect?
Let's look at what heaven looks like.
I want to know.
So in Revelation 21, we're told that there's 12 gates, and they're all pearl.
Probably for the 12 disciples.
Yeah, and we'll have main streets of gold, and there will be no need for sun or the moon because God will just be so vibrant. I mean, can you even imagine?
Nope.
John tells us, John 14 says, I go and I prepare a place for you. So Jesus has gone ahead of us and he's prepared this place for us.
So if you're a Christian, you have a place waiting for you.
Right. And
I mean, how cool is that?
I know, right?
And these are words from Jesus.
Right.
Okay.
It's not a lie, it's the truth. Revelation, and this is great, 21 tells us he will wipe away every tear. There will be no more mourning, no more crying, no more pain, no more suffering. You'll be a whole person.
I mean, that's just so
everybody that has lost parts in their body and their eyesight's bad, their ears are bad, their fingers are gone, whatever, you'll have all that back and you'll be amazing. One other one is in Revelation, we're told, Revelation 5, we will worship forever and ever. So we'll be up there with the angels just singing and praising Jesus, and it'll just be amazing. And lastly, there'll be fellowship. We're told in 1 Thessalonians 4, that we're going to be with our loved ones,
Yeah.
the ones that have gone ahead of us and are Christians.
And other Christians.
And other Christians,
I've heard
people
too.
you've blessed in your life.
Yeah, I was going to say that, and this is from the NDEs. I don't want to do a spoiler. What happened?
Don't do a spoiler.
But I've heard that, people have come back and they have just, it's like this, anybody, you're right, anybody who they've touched, the churches or friends or family, people you don't even know.
Yeah.
Will be there waiting for you. This is big party time USA.
Yeah, man.
Right?
Mm-hmm. Like you have no idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I always wondered, and you guys, what's your opinion on this? So, so say a 90-year-old guy dies. What state is he in heaven? Is he in his prime?
Right.
Does he look 90? Does he look like when he's in his 20s? And the Bible doesn't say this. Or do you have somewhat of a glorified body, which is biblical, and you have this, I don't know.
You know what?
I don't know what.
I have an answer for you, but I'm not going to tell you yet.
Oh, come on.
I'm going to tell you when I do the NDE.
Okay, all right.
Because there is an answer to that question.
Is there really? Okay. So, you know what? We're all going to have to wait because Kim's going to make me wait. I'm sure some of you are watching this and say, well, I'm an unbeliever. I don't believe in God. I don't believe in Jesus. I don't want to believe in God. I don't want to believe in Jesus. That's it.
Right.
The Bible is pretty clear that you will be in hell.
Not pretty clear. It's clear.
Well, yeah, it's clear. Yeah, I was trying to make it gentle on him, but no, it's clear that you will be in hell. And people, and I always say this, for a person that says that, and it's like we're sounding like, you're going to hell, or preaching doom and gloom. Well, if you think about it, if you're an unbeliever right now and you don't like God, for me to be with God for the rest of my life would be torture.
Right.
I don't like him. I don't want to be with
right.
him. So they call this place, and I know it kind of gets a bad name, but they call this place hell. These are people that don't want to be with God, and that would be torture to spend my life with a person that I don't like. So God says, sure, I get it. You don't want to be with me? I totally honor your decision. But this place is called hell, which is total separation from God. I always hate talking about the doom and gloom, and I think, they always talk about punishment with this. And I believe the punishment is total separation from God, because God is light, God is love, God is family, He's friends, He's believers. So that means there is no light, because God is the light. There are no friends, and you're separated from everyone, so you're alone. So you're in darkness, alone, and yes, you're with those little demon dudes, and they are going to torture you. They don't like you to begin with.
Right.
So yes, they're going to torture you.
It's not like a party.
Fire. It's not a party from what some people believe.
Right.
So I don't know if I want to put any more into that. I just get so frustrated because it's like hell gets a bad name, but it's like you wanted this.
Well, yeah, you wanted it anyway.
You wanted to be separated from God here on earth.
What's the difference?
He says, okay.
Yeah.
There you go.
Right. Thank you for that. Wow.
Sorry, I kind of went off on that.
I'm
just so passionate about it. It's
like,
okay.
We don't want anybody in hell.
No.
We're going to talk about NDEs now. What everybody's been waiting for.
What NDE stands for near-death experience.
Near-death experience. Okay. So our first one, we're going to talk about a well-known author. His name is Don Piper. He's also a minister.
Very fascinating.
And he wrote a book called 90 Minutes in Heaven. And this is just an amazing story.
Yeah.
I'll make it short. He gets in a really horrific car accident.
18-wheeler.
Yeah.
Bad.
It has detachments of the body all over the place. So he's on his way to a pastor's conference is what's going on. So there were a bunch of pastors behind him, and there was a gentleman gets in the car and is praying for him.
Mm-hmm.
while they have said that he's dead. But this guy heard God say to him, I go in there and pray for him. So he's praying for him. He has gone up to heaven. He said it was immediate. He didn't like go through a white tunnel or anything like that.
Which is interesting.
It was immediate. And he sees the pearl gates, and he is met with his grandfather, which will answer your question. It sounded like he was exactly the same age as when Don last remembered him.
Okay.
So older.
Okay, so that's interesting. Okay.
Is there a certain age?
That's why I'm questioning, or you just kind of have a...
But he made it sound like he was so close to his grandfather, and he actually saw his grandmother, and he saw a lot of people that he knew.
Right.
And he made it sound like they were the way he remembered them before they died.
Okay.
Anyways, he goes through these pearl gates, and he starts to move forward, and he says it's just, you can't even imagine.
Colors.
The lights, just sensory overload. And I don't, but he did see Jesus. He doesn't go a lot into that, I don't believe, but he because it was so quick. He was going through those pearl gates, and then he all of a sudden was back in the hospital, waking up, and he's like, no, I don't want to go yet.
No, don't want to go. That was so cool. Don't do it.
Yeah, some people see that white light. And he kind of said, I think because it was so violent and so quick, that might be the reason why he didn't see a white light, whereas somebody that's dying from like cancer or something, they might have a slower process.
Yeah, exactly. But the story is basically the same.
The pearl gates and the sensory overload and all the people that love you are there, and it's just so much beauty to it.
Yeah.
However, there are some. So there are a lot of endings where these people have obviously gone to hell.
Yeah, they've experienced a skosh of hell.
Yeah, and I'm gonna have to read these because they're pretty violent. These people are known to be atheists, self-proclaimed atheists. One was David Hume, which is quite a while ago. He's a philosopher, and as he was on his deathbed, I am in flames. It is said his desperation was a horrible scene. So another one is Clarence Darrow. He was a trial lawyer. He's on his deathbed, and there's several clergymen that said that they heard him say, please intercede for me with the Almighty. During my life, I have spoken many times against Christians, and now I realize that I may have been wrong.
You may, and
it's too late.
Yeah, there's a book that I read, and I will put the book down in the description if you want to read about some NDs, good and bad. And this, I believe, if I'm not wrong, the book is from a physician, like an emergency room physician. Yeah. And he wrote, because obviously emergency rooms are dealing with death all the time. Right. And he wrote about his experiences of this with either good and bad. I remember one story that just touched me where he was trying to save the guy's life and he was actually entering into hell. And the guy screamed at him saying, don't stop pumping, don't stop pumping. I'm going into hell. So it's like he said that he was just terrified, screaming at the doctor. It's like, oh, I'm going into hell. Stop, keep trying to save my life. So, and I think God, God doesn't give us a lot of depth into what heaven's like. It's a mystery. And I think that's part of who God is, because God is a God of mystery. Yeah. But I think he gives us these little tidbits. Yeah. It's like, oh, here's a little tidbit of what it's really like. Yeah. Because I think if he told the whole story and, oh, this is what heaven is like and blah, 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 it wouldn't be a mystery. It wouldn't be, right. To me, it's almost like I don't want to pass, you know what I mean? But it's like, it's this other adventure, of a beginning of a brand new life that you have no fathomable idea of what it's going to be like. Yeah. So it's like another adventure, a good adventure where nothing goes wrong. You're in Candyland. You know what I mean? I
Right.
mean, it's like nothing can go wrong. No
Right.
pain, no sorrow, no crying, no happiness. It's
Yeah.
like,
And I kind of think that I like to think that God has allowed some of these people. I know that He's allowed them to come back so He can
yeah,
bless
oh yeah,
others,
yeah, yeah.
change their life,
Oh yeah.
have a second chance,
Yep.
which you can't bet on. But also, I think He kind of just wants it to intrigue,
Yeah.
us a little bit. We want to know more. It just sounds so exciting,
Yeah.
Besides what we read in the Bible, He's kind of giving us a human glimpse
Right.
at what's ahead for us.
Yeah. Well, I'm encouraged. So, Kim,
Yes.
why don't you take us on home?
To heaven.
Well, not to heaven yet, but close us up.
That's where our home is, in heaven.
Yep.
We hope you guys enjoy this video, and hope it brought some enlightenment to you.
Enlightenment, yeah.
And if you're not a believer, our deepest hope is that you will be.
Yeah.
And
absolutely.
Yes. So we hope you enjoyed this video, and we hope to see you in the next one. Bye.